What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about my excitement for God of War Ragnarok. I promised a few more videos before the game comes out. I'm recording this on review day when reviews are going up, but this is after the reviews had gone up. And I just want to talk about my excitement for this game one more time. I know I did the preview series that I do, why I'm getting it and why you should too, for God of War Ragnarok. But this is the last weekend, depending on what day this video goes up. And I do like to just kind of get these thoughts out here for certain games. I am beyond pumped for this game. The reviews, you know, they solidified my excitement, I suppose. I make my own decisions. I don't go based off reviews like I always say, but there is something obviously very enticing when everybody on the internet is just absolutely blown away by this game. I guess not everybody. There are some people that didn't absolutely, adore it, and that's fine. That's actually very fine. And, there's different things with the reviews and who Sony gives codes to and who Sony doesn't, and just because a game gets a high score doesn't mean it's gonna land. There's still story decisions that could land with this game right with some people, wrong with other people. But beyond all that, this just doesn't happen that often. I guess speaking from a selfish, my video, my channel, me as a person, I love God of War. I've loved it for a long time. I talked about that before. God of War 3 was the first one I vividly, it is the one actually that I got day one. I played it all the way through with my friend, and we just couldn't believe how good the game was. And leading into God of War 3 is when I played the rest of them. And I always looked to God of War as one of the main Sony, franchises. This was a game, I would say I was more into God of War, at least back then, and this was before, remember, God of War 3 happened before Uncharted 3, and so I would say I was more of a God of War fan at the time than I was Uncharted. Now I can easily say Uncharted is my favorite franchise of all time, but back then, it was God of War. I would honestly, I think I can say that quite confidently. God of War is my favorite franchise. I loved 3 to death. I loved the ending. I was really happy with the ending, even though they left it kind of open, and obviously killing Kratos at the end, and then having him jump off the cliff was like, oh, that was an interesting choice. And then Ascension and all that stuff, and God of War's just always been a part of my gaming experience. I go back to play God of War 3. I don't play through games more than once. Most games I don't do it, but some games I do. And God of War 3, God, I feel like I've played that game maybe 6 times. I've platinumed it. I think I've platinumed it more than once. These are different, versions of it. But I've played that game, I think, 6 times all the way through. 2018 was weird because it came out just in a very, busy, not that my life isn't busy now, but a busy time in my life where, I was working. I had the channel that was kind of just starting up still. Even back then, it wasn't all that big. I was in college, all this different stuff. And I actually took my time as in I stretched it for a very long time for God of War 2018. And then when I finally beat it, it took me about a month and a half to actually beat the game. I avoided spoilers, so I didn't know the ending of God of War 2018. I really didn't know much about Norse mythology, literally at all. I've learned a lot now, leading into Ragnarok, that much more than I knew going into God of War 2018. And I loved it to death. I really thought it was a great game and a very different game than God of War 3. So I guess what I'm building up to in this, what's this long story all about? God of War is just a very special franchise to me. So there's been many games that have come out this year, and I do get excited, and you guys would know if you've watched these videos when I do the preview series that I do, or just as the weeks kind of get closer and closer to really any game I'm moderately interested in, I do get pretty pumped. And then really that level will mainly only increase depending on how important the franchise is to me. So I'm even kind of excited to see what Sonic Frontiers does. Now I'm going to actually talk about that in other videos, but Somerville and The Devil in Me, I have general excitement. Callisto Protocol, Midnight Suns, I have general excitement for all of these games, but obviously the ones that have been more part of my journey, let's say, those games get elevated, and you just don't get a game like God of War, even if you're not a God of War fan or a massive God of War fan or whatever. God of War is a titan. It's a big game. It's a big franchise. It is, like I said, I don't know, maybe people had always thought that it was the biggest and best. I think Uncharted really had the reins for quite a while there, but actually part of that was because God of War was gone, right? Really, as Uncharted took its ascension. Then you had The Last of Us, and Last of Us maybe was even bigger than Uncharted, but you had a long period of time where God of War wasn't so big, right? After God of War 3, which was 2010, Ascension came out, and it wasn't as big of a deal, obviously, and it took a long time. If you don't count Ascension, it took 8 years from God of War 3 to the next in chronological order of Kratos' journey. So it was gone for a long time, but even with Ascension, I think that was 2013. So it was still 5 years. And then it really cemented itself in 2018 how big of a franchise it still is, that it still has that power. Because some franchises go away. Some franchises don't have that staying power. And it's special whenever any of these things kind of happen. It's always special when a new Zelda game comes out. It's always special when Halo's had some rocky moments over the last, half decade or more. And even when Halo Infinite comes out, there's something different about it. There just is. Starfield, it's going to feel the same way. Obviously, Hogwarts, for me, if we're going to throw a third party in, is going to feel probably the same way, if not even more than God of War. I'm just so excited for the next few days to move out of the way, basically. Like, we talk about Sonic. We joke about Sonic kind of being in God of War's way. The days of the week are also in God of War's way. So if we could just move those days, to just another, segment of time to be able to play God of War. Look, I don't even know what my plan is. Like, sitting here right now, I had actually a plan for Gotham Knights. And you cover a game for 4 years and you talk about it so much and you build up a community. I had to have a plan of attack for that game. For God of War, it's really, am I just going to sit and I'm just going to play? See, my wife also she does like God of War, and I don't want to play it without her, especially the story stuff. But see, she has like a day job. Unlike me, my day job is this. She has a day job where she has to leave the house. So I don't know. I can't really, for Gotham Knights, she didn't really care. So I could play Gotham Knights whenever. For God of War, am I limited? I guess that's kind of a relationship issue that I have to talk through with her. But, do I have to wait till the nighttime of any day in order to play this game? And it's a long game, right? The reviews kind of clued us in that it seems to be around 30. That's kind of, I saw some people that took longer than 30, but I saw one that said 27, one that did say 30. 30 hours is going to kind of be what I think of as the average for just the story for God of War Ragnarok. So it's going to take a while, and, it comes out, and then within a week and a half, you got Pokemon, you got the Devil, and then you start to have other games. Now, everything gets put aside for God of War, but of course, again, selfishly, my video, my channel, all that stuff, there's other games I have to cover, and there's, videos I have to make and all that stuff, and then there's the holidays of Thanksgiving, and so it's going to be quite crazy, and I don't have the same plan of attack. I don't even have a plan of attack for God of War Ragnarok, and it's pretty special. It is when a game, and we all have our own different preferences of games that release every single year. There's something very special to the game that you're looking forward to coming out. And for some people, they only have a couple a year, or they only have one. God of War is their game. Gotham Knights is their game. Hogwarts is their game. Or maybe you're like me and you have like 50 of them, but they're still kind of, they're ranked, so some of them mean more to you than others. And it's a very special feeling when a game at the top of your most wanted or most anticipated list, it releases. Whether the scores are kind of good or bad, that's what I learned from Gotham Knights, just kind of a refresher course, is no matter what the scores are, there is something just very special about a game that we've all been looking forward to for so long, and then it actually is out in the wild and people can play it. There's really nothing like it, to be honest with you. And it's the same, it's a general same feel for movie franchises or movies that come out as well. So let me know what you guys think. Are you excited? Did the reviews help? Did they hurt? Whatever you want to talk about in the comments. I still try to not check God of War video comments, but have at it down there. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on. If you want to follow or support me anywhere else, all my social media is in the description below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.